It is that time of the year again, and welcome back to the Kitchen Foodies. Today I'll be teaching you how to make this super moist black fruit cake or Christmas cake. I'm gonna start off by creaming some sugar and butter. So here I have 1¼ cups of brown sugar. To this I'm gonna be adding 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And for this step, ensure that your butter is at room temperature. In order to achieve this, you just need to place that butter on the kitchen counter overnight, or you can just pop this into the microwave for about 30 seconds and then you'll be good to go. So here I'm using a hand mixer to cream the butter and sugar. This will take me a few minutes to get this nice and fluffy. If you have a standing electric mixer, it will be really good for you to just put the butter and sugar in there and just turn that right on. Ensure you cream this to get it very fluffy and as light as you can. And after a few minutes, this is what I have. I'm just scraping the sides of the bowl right now to ensure that the butter that wasn't incorporated with the sugar gets all in. Then you should have something nice and fluffy looking just like this. So once you have the creamed butter and sugar, now it's time to add the eggs. So I have 4 eggs here, and I removed the chalaza from the egg, but since I don't want this to be raw, I'm adding in lemon juice, lemon zest, and some orange zest as well. I'm giving this a nice mix, and this did not taste raw. This was just perfect. So I'm adding in half of that egg mixture. Then I'm just going to mix again. Then the next half. Mix. And this should be ready within a few minutes. Do not overmix this. Once everything is nice and incorporated, you just move on to the next step, and that will be to add the fruits to this mixture. So I'll be adding in 2 cups of soaked fruits and blended. So my fruits, these have been soaking for a whole year. I usually steam my fruits. If you use the steaming method, which will be in the description box and also somewhere in this video, your fruits will be perfect, and you can actually use these the next day or even the same day once these cool down if you steam it. Perfect, filled with flavors. So I'm just cutting and folding here to mix the fruits in. Do not overmix. Once everything is nice and incorporated, then you know that it is good to go. Your wet mixture is good to go. And these fruits smell amazing. Smells so good. So now for the dry ingredients, I'm adding 1 cup of all-purpose flour here, then 1 cup of breadcrumbs, unflavored, next a half teaspoon of salt, a 1¼ teaspoon of baking powder. And now for the spices, first things first, some freshly grated nutmeg, a ½ tablespoon, next a ½ tablespoon of cinnamon powder, and a ½ teaspoon of mixed spice. Mix everything together, and your dry ingredients is ready for your wet ingredients. So I'm just going to add this mixture half at a time to the fruits mix. Just cut and fold to mix everything in. Cut, fold. Then the next half will go right in. And the same motion, cut and fold until it is nice and well incorporated. Ensure that you mix your flour, your dry ingredients out well, because you don't want to cut your cake and then you have, you're seeing flour all in your cake. And again, if you have a stand-in mixer, use that stand-in mixer to make things easier. You don't need to struggle for this, all right? So now I'm gonna add some more things, some wet ingredients. First, 2 tablespoons of rum and wine. Next, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Then a 1/4 teaspoon of almond essence and a 1/2 teaspoon of rose water. Then I'm going to mix these in again in the cut and fold motion. And then right here the texture was fine, but then I wanted to add a little more wine. So I added a little bit more wine and a tablespoon of molasses. Now the browning, the molasses is for flavor and a little bit of color. But the browning, I'll be adding 3 tablespoons of browning to my cake. I like my cake dark. Of course, do not overdo it, because if you add too much browning, your cake will be bitter. Mine was just perfect. I like my cake dark, so I added 3 tablespoons. If you do not like your cake dark, you can use 1 tablespoon or even 2 tablespoons. I think 2 tablespoons would have also been good. But here I'm just mixing and folding it, cutting and folding again. And now the mixture is just right. And here, oh my god, the batter tasted so yummy. So now I'm adding this to my greased tin. This is a springform pan. It will be easy for me to get the cake out of this. So I'm just adding the mixture in, and then I'm gonna bake this. So everyone's oven is different. I'm using an electric oven. So I baked mine for like 50 minutes and it was fine. And I'll put the exact temperature in the description box and also in the video. So once I have this all filled up, I'm just going to knock it down on the table to get rid of any air bubbles. Then I'll pop it in the oven over a hot water bath. So I don't want this to crack, and I need this to really steam nicely in the oven. And voila, here it is. I'm gonna be spraying this with a mixture of rum and wine. And this is, the cake is fresh out of the oven. You can see the steam coming off of it, right? And then this is the next day. You need to leave this to cool all the way down. So this is the next day and my cake is ready. It is not burned. It is perfect. It is dark because I love my cake dark, but the darkness was just right. This was not bitter at all. So I'm just going to remove the springform pan and I'm going to show you this. Look at how good this is looking. It looks good and it tasted even better. Remember, if you don't want your cake this dark, then you don't have to use 3 tablespoons of browning. But this cake is good enough for 2 persons, or you can share it with other people. But I'm going to cut right into it and look at this. Look at this. This is a really good slice, and I'm going to show you the close-up because I think my recording device didn't do this cake any justice. So here I have 3 pieces. They are nice and moist. I didn't add too much alcohol on top of it. When I took it out of the oven, this wasn't too soft, and I think this might have done the cake a little justice. Look at how moist this is, and it's not too heavy. Here I have a piece of it that I was eating just to show you. It has that little cake-like consistency, but just not too airy and not too thick, just perfect. I shared it with other people. They loved it, and you might love it too. Who knows? Do not take my word for it. Just try it for yourself. So that is it, guys. Black fruit cake or Christmas cake, ROMA'S kitchen style. I absolutely loved this recipe. I will continue to make some of my cakes like this. So thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, and visit my website for this detailed recipe. Thank you so much for watching. Until next video.